Let's wait for Ryan to set himself back down again.
Oh no. Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
I think we have a good intro bit.
Oh, that would have been so good if you weren't saying intro bit right then.
Ryan can absolutely mute me.
What's happening?
My name is the King of Chaos. Welcome back to another episode of Magic and Mayhem.
I'm borrowing that from Jacksepticeye. What do you guys think of our new intro bit? What do you guys think of our new intro?
It's good. It's good. I'm a fan. Why are?
A fan, you say?
Oh my gosh! Here we are again. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna write down the fact that I can just skip through the first 29 minutes of this recording. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hi.
I'm not recording yet.
No!
No, we're good.
He's kidding. Don't scare
I kid.
I merely jest.
I have a joke.
Who else is here?
I have a joke. Hi, I'm Ronnan. I have a joke. I was just
Tell me your joke.
baby formula. Babies shouldn't be involved in open wheel racing.
I thought you were gonna go with like a scientific formula or something. Babies shouldn't be involved in science. Babies shouldn't be involved in racing any more than science.
No, wait until they're at least 3. Yes, I stole that from a
Yeah.
TikTok. Hit me up if you know which one. I don't remember which one. I just heard it like 2 days ago.
Also, don't hit him up. He hates all of you.
I hate all of you.
I can't even use bits like that against Ronnan because Ronnan will absolutely be like, yes, I do hate you.
I hate everyone. James, what were you saying about not recording it? Did you fix that? You're all good, right?
No.
Oh.
He was kidding.
Do I have to
and
make?
he still is.
Do I have to do?
I kid.
We have to start over. We have to start. Intro times 2. Go.
Yeah.
No.
Days. I'm gonna have a whiteboard.
I was
up there.
joking.
How many
I'm gonna put
days
my
since we
whiteboard
had to
up there,
redo
and
the
it's-
intro?
Yeah, days since one take intro, and it's gonna be like 452. That places at some point last year. Anyways, who?
Hi.
Hi.
I guess.
Hi. I'm
It's
James.
us. It's Chaos and
Guess
Ronnan
what?
and James.
Guess what?
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 The bird is gone.
We already
The
did
bird
this.
is
We did this. Oh my gosh, we did
No.
this.
But for reals, he's gone
It's-
in Commander now.
It's
as
Bandit
is-
Commander now.
Oh.
Yeah,
As
so the
of
bird is
yesterday.
The bird is gone. Jeweled Lotus is gone.
No.
Monocrypt is
No.
gone. And Dockside Extortionist. All
I'd
of them
never played
banned.
that one.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok earlier that did a very good job at explaining this. Was that people were like, the Commander's Rules Committee needs to be more involved and invested in the game. And then they looked over and saw the monkey's paw curling. And then they banned 4 of the today's most relevant CEDH staples. That was a couple days ago at this point.
I
but-
have to update my Fibblethip deck because I think it has Jeweled Lotus, but I know for a fact that it has Monocrypt. And I have to do something.
Jeweled
about
Lotus
that.
is a free spell as well.
Yeah, probably then. Is that the one
it
that
creates three mana of any color only to cast your commander.
And your commander costs 3.
Right, yes. I love that one because I just... There he is. Turn
Yeah,
on.
it's just like, alright, I'm gonna start my turn. Island. Fibbled Fip! I spit everywhere. That was nasty. Anyways, onto the podcast. Today we dive into a very spooky realm, one known as Duskmourn. The entire plane is a haunted mansion.
I can't get up.
So much happened.
So much has happened.
So much has happened. You turned into a
Today
ghost.
we're doing a commander
You
pitch.
disappeared.
Today we do a commander pitch. Talking about some of the spookiest commanders.
Ooh.
Let's get into this.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
That's dumb. All right.
Yeah,
I'm going
I'd
first
call
as
mine
usual, I
spooky.
presume.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, go
ahead.
Go for it.
Alrighty.
I don't even know what your commander is.
Because I think
So,
you changed it, right?
You changed it last minute.
I did change it last minute.
As
When
in like
all of-
3 days ago.
I finished building the deck this morning.
Yeah, but you said you were going to change it 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Which was, that was on Friday. So I was going to do Marvin the Mimic, or whatever it is, where he just has all activated abilities of all creatures you control. And then I decided I can't really do a budget deck like that, so I'm gonna try and keep my eyes open for something else. And
Especially in colorless. That seems a little expensive.
yeah, the lands alone were more than the $50 I normally aim for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm
Hold
just
on.
gonna.
Random question.
Yes.
Are Planeswalker loyalty abilities activated abilities?
Yes, they are, but it only counts towards activated abilities of creatures you control.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. So, because the adding or removing or the zero ability of a planeswalker is technically a cost, it's an activated ability. But I digress. I was not able to. I don't know. I wasn't really able to find anything until we went to a Duskmourn pre-release on Friday, and I pulled Winter Misanthropic Guide. And the reason I built this deck, and this is also not a budget deck. It's cheaper than my Marvin deck, but it's not a budget deck. The reason I built this one to do for Commander Pitch is because I built the whole thing. And this is a deck that I own, and I kind of want to talk about it and show it off a little bit.
And we're going to play test it on Friday, right?
Oh, absolutely. If
I
can-
have a couple play tests I need to run as well.
Mhm.
Friendship
Don't worry,
will
my
arrive.
Atraxa deck isn't done yet.
Yeah. So, anyways, this deck I call, go ahead and draw.
Thank you.
I'm intrigued, but I don't like the idea.
I'm a
The
fan. Let me draw.
The commander is Winter Misanthropic Guide. For 1, a black and a green, you get a 3/4 legendary human warlock with Ward 2, and at the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws 2 cards.
Yay.
But there's more to this commander. Delirium. As long as there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, each opponent's maximum hand size is equal to 7 minus the number of those card types. So if you have 4 card types in your graveyard, everybody's maximum hand size becomes 7 minus the amount of card types, which is 4, so 3.
What the frick, man?
Now I will say,
This doesn't feel like much friendship.
it's not.
I thought we were gonna be friendship buddies.
So, when we're looking at this deck, the main point of this deck is not necessarily Delirium, because it'll be really, really easy to hit those Deliriums with everybody drawing as much cards.
Even in pre-release, it was very easy to hit Delirium.
Oh, absolutely. I played against
And-
the Winter deck my first game, and it was rough.
Yeah. And I was playing green-white. I didn't even need Delirium.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was
But I
playing red.
constantly had it.
Yeah, I was playing red-white, and I also had Delirium. Specifically, I was running Balloon Man, but that's a story for another day.
Casual flex.
Yeah.
He pulled 3
So
of
this
them.
this deck doesn't really care about Delirium, and it doesn't really care about just like making people draw and trying to mill themselves out, because there is one very easy way to stop this entire delirium stuff, and it's Reliquary Tower. Because I think it comes down to layers, but I'm pretty sure that
I think it's or timestamps.
Yes. So it's like, if Reliquary Tower comes out after Winter, then that player has no maximum hand size. But if Winter comes out after Reliquary Tower, then it's equal to 3. Because it doesn't say reduced by, it changes that number. So it either depends on some sort of layer stuff or timestamps. But I digress. This deck is mostly focused around forcing people to discard and punishing them when they draw or discard. Specifically with stuff like Fate Unraveler. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player.
Ow.
There is Fear of Burning Alive, which synergizes well with a lot of the other stuff, also from Duskmourn. When it enters, it deals 4 damage to each opponent. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, Fear of Burning Alive deals that amount of damage to target creature that player controls. So whenever a player takes damage, it can also ping their creatures. There's Fell Spectre. Whenever an opponent discards a card, that player loses 2 life. It has other stuff, but that's not relevant. Gitaxian Puppeteer. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Nap Miser. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 1. Just a little extra cushion.
Yes.
Just gotta drop them down just a little bit more. Kick them off, they're already on the floor.
Yeah, because there's only 2 battles in this deck and only 1 Planeswalker, so it's likely that the amount of types is going to be 6. 5 or 6, somewhere in there. There's Cataract Parasite. Whenever an opponent draws a card, if I control a red permanent, I can have it deal 1 damage to that player.
Ow.
There's Orcish Bowmasters, a very good commander staple. When it enters the battlefield, and whenever an opponent draws a card except for the first one they draw on each of their turns, it deals 1 damage to any target, then I amass Orcs 1. Shouldred the Apocalypse.
No.
Yeah, casual flex. I have that one. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life.
I have 3 of them.
I don't have any.
Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life.
It hurts, man. It stacks. It adds up. As the resident draw all the cards guy, I don't like that one specifically.
Yeah, they do add up for sure. There's Stormfist Crusader. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card and loses 1 life. Then most of the instants and sorceries are either removal, protection, or ramp, as is typical in these decks. Most of the creatures and enchantments and stuff are red and black, so a lot of the instants and sorceries are green, with stuff like Cultivate and Farseek, Beast Within, Heroic Intervention. There is one card that I want to talk about. It's Peer Past the Veil. It costs 2, a red and a green. You discard your hand, then you draw X cards, where X is the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. So that'll help, hopefully, get more Delirium stuff.
That sounds like a lot of losing of cards.
Yeah, I don't know how well this deck is going to do, because there's also not any Thassa's Oracle or Laboratory Maniac sort of effects. There's Spiteful Visions. Whenever, at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Whenever a player draws a card, Spiteful Visions deals 1 damage to that player. So I'll be losing life from that one too, but hopefully I'll have Shouldred out to sort of narrow that down, and everybody will be losing more life. There's Underworld Dreams. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player. And then more discard synergy is the other big type in this deck. So there's Liliana's Caress. Whenever an opponent discards a card, they lose 2 life. There's Waste Not, which is a very, very good card for this deck. Whenever they discard
mention that one.
Yeah. Whenever they discard a creature card, you create a 2/2 black zombie. Whenever they discard a land card, you add 2 black mana. And whenever they discard a non-creature, non-land card, you draw a card. You're really hoping for that last one because it's going to be, or anything but the middle, because they're going to be discarding stuff on their cleanup step. Then, of course, I did kind of have to do this, and I apologize, but I don't mean it. There is a Turgid, God of Fright in here.
Makes sense.
Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, I may put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under my control.
But
Then...
but my stuff.
It's better in the 99, or it feels better in the 99 than as a commander.
That's true.
Yeah,
I
to
can
play
counter
against,
it,
at
and there's
least.
no way it's coming back again, or
There's a lot of recursion.
very little
There's
chance
not.
it'll come
I
back.
prefer to play with it when it's a commander, but I prefer to play against it when it's in the 99.
I'll exile.
I
it.
said
There
there's
we
a
go.
lot of... Yeah, I said there was a lot of recursion. There's one.
Oh, good.
There's one recursion, and it's reanimate. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to its mana value.
Ow.
But that's any graveyard, so that's pretty cool.
Ow.
There's one of the planeswalkers, the only planeswalker, is Angrath Flamechain. His +1 is each opponent discards a card and loses 1 life. The -3, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it, it gains haste until end of turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step if it has mana value 3 or less.
Why are you
Then
taking my stuff?
-8. Take it to yourself and maybe sacrificing it.
No, don't do that.
Then the -8, which is the real kicker. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of cards in their graveyard, which can be a game ender.
Say one more time.
Each opponent loses life equal to the number of cards in their graveyard,
Okay.
You said graveyard,
which can
right?
end it.
Yes. Graveyard.
Okay. I thought that's
Um,
what you mouthed at me, but I couldn't tell. It kept cutting out on the last word, which was the most important word. And now he's doing it on purpose.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, because your green didn't even light up.
Yeah. The 2 battles are Invasion of Urgamon and Invasion of Eldraine. Invasion of Urgamon, when it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token, then you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Transforms into Truga Cliffcharger. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, search your library for a land or battle card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Then there's Invasion of Eldraine. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards 2 cards, then it transforms into a 2/2 with, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep. If that player has 2 or fewer cards in hand, it deals 2 damage to them.
Ow.
Yippee!
Ow.
Yippee! Then there's...
Stop
Do you
dealing
have a
damage to me.
Bajuka Bog?
What's up?
You got a Bajuka Bog in
I
case
don't.
someone's playing Reanimation?
I don't have a Bajuka Bog, actually. I took it out so that way I wouldn't accidentally Bajuka Bog someone and then draw into that Angrath. Bajuka Bog could be very good in here, though. It's just a personal choice.
Yeah.
Then I guess sort of the last couple that I want to talk about are wheel effects. So there's Dark Deal. Each player discards all the cards in their hand, then draws that many cards -1. That works really well with both the discard pinging and the draw pinging. There's Reforge the Soul. It has Miracle, 1 and a red. You can cast it for its Miracle cost if it's when you draw it, if it's the first card you drew. Each player discards his or her hand and draws 7 cards. There's Burning Inquiry. Each player draws 3 cards, then discards 3 cards at random. And then there is Magus of the Wheel, which, for those who don't know, it costs 2 and a red for a 3/3. You can pay 1 in a red, tap it, and sacrifice it to have everybody discard their hand, then draw 7 cards.
I don't wanna. What if I don't for the bit?
Oh yeah,
Can I not for the bit though?
There's a couple more actually. I'm sorry, I forgot about my artifact.
But what if we don't for the bit though?
but we do for my bit.
Let's not talk
It's
about
my
your.
bit.
Let's not talk about your bits, please.
I'm going to talk extensively about my bits.
No, please.
Throw that in the full book.
I think I killed James.
Don't worry about it.
A couple of artifacts I want to talk about before I move on to bigger and better things with my life are Conduit of Worlds. I can play lands from my graveyard, and then I can tap and choose target non-land permanent card in my graveyard. If I haven't cast a spell this turn, I can cast that card. If I do, I can't cast additional spells this turn. So it's just in case I get like one of my good pieces into the graveyard, or if Turgid gets removed, stuff like that.
Also,
Gets
it helps
Grimoire.
hit land drops.
It does also help get land drops, especially if you get like a Terramorphic Expanse in there. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
There's Get's Grimoire. Whenever an opponent discards a card from his or her hand, you may draw a card. And then there's Mind Crank. Whenever an opponent loses life, that player puts that many cards from the top of his or her graveyard into his or her... cards from the top of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Mesmeric Orb. Whenever a permanent becomes untapped, that permanent's controller mills a card. And then Matzalantli, the Great Door, because of course I had to involve some Ixalan. You can tap it to draw a card, then discard a card. Pay 4, tap it, and transform it. Activate only if there are 4 or more permanent types among cards in your graveyard. The permanent types are Artifact, Battle, Creature, Enchantment, Land, and Planeswalker. Then it transforms into the Core! Fathomless Descent. Tap, add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. That one's also really good in my Mushroom deck that I made when we talked about Lost Caverns.
Mushrooms.
I really want to play my friendship deck against this deck.
Oh man. This would be a great deck to do it with.
Is it not because I'm expecting any specific outcome? I just know that it's going to be crazy and it's going to be really hard to keep track of.
Oh, absolutely. Because you're
Just
making
make
us
sure
draw, I'm making us draw. I'm making everyone discard. People are going to discard down to hand size. It's...
Just make sure you play your world ruleristic study after he plays his winter.
Mm-hmm.
That way everyone has no maximum hand size.
I will double check the rules on how those two would interact, but I'll add that at the end of the episode when I've had a chance to Google it. In terms of lands, I have 33 lands, 9 of which are basic. I have 3 of each basic, and I know what you guys are going to say. 24 non-basics is perfectly fine in a 3-color deck.
24 non-basic lands?
Especially when most of them either tap and sacrifice for a basic land, tap for more than 1 mana, or tap for all 3 colors.
And he froze again.
Oh man.
We lost him.
I'm back.
There he is. He's back.
Okay. Yeah. Having 24 is perfectly fine in a 3-color deck, especially in a kind of deck where I want lands in my graveyard. A lot of them have cycling, a lot of them have tap and sacrifice to search for basics, a lot of them...
What is the point of tapping, sacrificing, looking for basics if you have 9 basics?
Because I have less than 9 things in my library that say search for a basic.
But you can play the
But
thing
you have
you
Conduit
sacrifice
of
from the
Worlds.
graveyard. You can only do that 9 times total.
Yes, but I want to have lands in my graveyard for Delirium. Land is a card type.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily about the basics, because the ones, like I said, the ones that don't tap and sacrifice to put into the graveyard, either tap for more than 1 mana or tap for more than 1 color of mana. Or are the 9 basics.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
It's absolutely worth it when your maximum hand size is 1.
Now, my maximum hand size will not be 1. Do you know how many no maximum hand size things I have in every one of my decks?
Do you know how many removal spells I have?
How many land removal spells do you have?
I swear, if you have a wasteland in there, I'm gonna cry.
I don't, but I'm gonna take out one of my. I'm gonna remove, just to spite Ronnan, I'm gonna remove Command Tower and add Field of the Dead.
Why are you taking out Command Tower? Take out one of your basics.
No, because Command Tower adds for all 3, and apparently Ronnan doesn't like when I can do things right.
I thought you were trying to spite me. Take out a basic, coward.
I'm trying to spite you by removing one of the only lands that you can agree is probably good.
I
in
hate
this
Command
deck.
Tower. What are you talking about?
You love Command
I
Tower.
hate
It's your favorite
He
land.
plays
never
mono
played
blue half the
Command Tower.
time.
He loves Command Tower. He loves it more than Islands.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing is wrong
Most of
with
the
me.
time, a command tower is just an island.
Nuh-uh, he loves them. He has them in every deck. I've watched him play 4. In one deck. In the Thibault 5th. See, I'm at a point where I'm joking around and doing a bit, but I'm not confident everyone else is, so I should stop talking. I don't know if everybody's genuinely upset at me about my land counts or not.
No,
so
it
I'm
doesn't
just gonna
matter.
Move on.
The land does not matter. I don't care.
Okay, cool.
I
was really starting to freak.
I
for a
was
sec.
just about to say, if we don't interact with this bit, I wonder how long he's gonna keep going. And then you stopped right before I said that.
You have
See,
shenaniganized too close to the sun.
Anyways, that's my deck, and I tried not to take up too much time because we have 30 minutes of recording before we even started intros.
And we've been recording for an hour.
I took up more time than I meant to. I apologize.
It's okay.
Nah, some of that was intros. It's fine. Anyways, what do you guys think?
James is eating his
Every-
own hair.
You guys froze for a
Don't worry
second
about it.
on James going, ah.
I'm kind of impressed with this one because you don't usually play this sort of deck. This isn't your style that you usually go for. But it's something that I'm very interested in seeing work. I want to before Friday when we play that deck, I want to get the deck that I built today and either get the cards or print it out or something. I have the commander. I got that from James. But I just want to have that one, and then we'll see who can mill each other out the fastest.
That
I
would be
sold
an
it to
interesting
him for a
thing.
ley line.
And then it doesn't have to be on Friday, but I do also want to see the way it interacts with your friendship deck.
That is the most you've cut out so far, and it was that entire sentence.
So sorry. It doesn't have to be on Friday, but I do also want to see how it interacts with your friendship deck.
Yes.
I'm
Friendship is magic.
convinced you just have a mute mic button on the side that you're pushing.
I promise I'm not. I'm dying here.
I'm going to give you a pretty good score, but well, see, I normally would because I like this deck. I love the concept. I love where you're going with it. It's a great idea. Everything sounded great except for that last section that you did. So I'm going to give you a
What, the lands?
yeah. So I'm going to give you 5 out. Hold on. 5 out of the 29 non-basic lands you said you had. How many non-basic
20,
lands?
24 non-basic.
5 out of the 24 non-basic lands that you had.
I would like to mention something really quick
Yes.
before we digress. And I am being fully serious when I say this. When I built this deck, I had just woken up. I got all of my lands together, and I forgot that basics were a thing. The first draft of this deck had no basics.
Every deck needs to have at least a couple, just in case you get Path to Exiled.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't know what I was thinking, because I do also have a bunch
Otherwise,
of, like,
you just
search
get
for basic
generally
stuff.
screwed over.
Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff that says, like, search for basic lands. You know, I've got, like, the Farseeks and the Cultivates and the Nature's Lore. And then I have all of those lands that tap and sacrifice and search for basics. But I didn't have any basics in here. So it's just like, yep, my deck is done. Swamp!
Yeah, I ran
You're
into that
proving my
problem
point.
when I built my... I ran into that problem when I built my Karn deck a while ago.
I'm doing the opposite.
I have a few things that search for basic lands. Well, I guess I gotta go buy some wastes now. Great.
I'm doing the opposite of proving your point, Ronan.
Because I was the better man, and against my own wants and desires, I added basics.
No, I'm not saying that you're proving my point as to the basics being better. You're proving my point as to why you deserve a low number on this deck, because it took you till the second draft to put any in, and that is heinous.
You're an anus.
That's not what I said! And you know it! You heard me!
I did not hear anything.
You know what? Two can play this game!
Prove that I heard anything. Fine. You can keep the podcast and the divorce.
Hold on, I accidentally hit the Windows button. Let me just...
Don't worry, love. I'm fine. I just walked into the door for a bit.
Okay.
She doesn't care.
I threw my headphones onto my keyboard and everything is bad now.
Anyways, 5 out of 24. Not bad. What do you rate it, James?
Okay, so you're getting extra points for adding the Turgid in, of course. I think you're getting 2 out of the 2 times the bird has died, which is not a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
Woo! I'm getting 100% and 20%. Honestly, I was hoping that the story of Forgetting Tad lands would make it higher.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I was tempted to drop it.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm a merciful king.
All right. Let us continue to the next deck. James!
James!
Speaking of lettuce, this guy's got heads. Very small correlation, but there is some. Just work with me, okay? The Jolly Balloon Man.
Uh-huh.
The Jolly Balloon Man is a red and a white legendary creature human clown.
First time we've seen that creature type.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing a clown creature type before, so it could be the first. All right, it's a haste. It's a 1/4 with haste. It has pay 1 and tap it. Create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control, except it's a 1/1 red balloon creature. In addition to its other it is a 1/1 red balloon creature in addition to its other colors and types. I think I skipped over the red and that confused me. And it has flying and haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step. Activate only as a sorcery.
So he's making balloon animals?
Yes.
I see.
The art is kind of disturbing. He's blowing up a bunch of heads that appear to have been decapitated off of people and then skinned like they're balloons.
I am going to believe in my balloon animal theory. And forget you said that.
All right.
And forget you said that, because
I prefer its showcase art personally. I'm
Yeah.
sure most of the world does as well. But the concept of this deck is enters the battlefield and dies triggers. So starting off with the concept of creature tokens and white, I just kind of gravitated towards our what is it, Mondrak?
Glory Dominus?
It's in here somewhere. Mondrak Glory Dominus. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead.
That's pretty good.
There's also O'Hare Ash O'Neill? O'Hare Talk. Deepest Foundation. If one or more creature tokens would be created under your control, 3 times that many of those tokens are created instead.
Which is yikes.
Yes, I
That's
think
a
those
lot
are
of
some of the. I think those are the only token doublers and triplers that I have. I then went to the other type. The other concept is there's a new creature entering the battlefield. So we've got Elish Norn. Which one? I'm not sure. Elish Norn, Mother of Machines. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time.
You're gonna
Doubling your ETBs. I also threw in a Panharmonicon, which does the exact same thing.
you
basically.
have some of
I think
those.
it's just creatures though.
You have some of those creatures or enchantments that like give you 1 life when a creature enters under your control, right?
Probably.
Life gain.
Left game.
Let's go.
Yeah, there's
If an
I mean, there's-
artifact or creature entering the battlefield causing a trigger, yeah, it's Elish Norn except only for artifacts and creatures,
and Elish Norn
and
prevents
less other abilities.
Yeah, and Elish Norn prevents enter the battlefield abilities of opponents
Yes,
to trigger.
That has
which
to
is just
go.
an added bonus, but it is kind of a lightning rod.
Mm-hmm.
Though it takes
Absolutely.
3 lightning bolts in order to kill it. It is a 4/7.
Yeah.
You don't need a lightning bolt when you have a sword to plowshares.
Path to Exile.
That works too.
Yeah, path to plowshares. Swords to exile.
Yes.
Murder. You could just straight up stab Elish Norn with a knife.
Kill.
Kill her to
Yeah,
death
that
with a
works.
gun.
So, of course, moving on from our gaining more abilities out of stuff and stuff like that. This deck is based around enters and dies. Those other cards that I mentioned earlier are just to expound upon the enters and dies abilities.
That was a good use of that word. I like that.
Expound! So of course,
Good for
we've got the Sad Robot.
Sad robot. Sad robot's
Solemn
great in this.
Solemn Simulacrum, which I'm sure everybody knows, but just in case, we're gonna read it. When Solemn Simulacrum...
When
When Solemn Simulacrum enters, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. When Solemn Simulacrum dies, you may draw a card.
Yes.
Which
And-
I don't know when our original Solemn Simulacrum is going to die, but our balloons are sacrificed at our next end step.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a lot of draws off of that. That's a really good one to do.
Yeah, especially if you have O'Hare Talk out. you create a solemn simulacrum, and then you get 3 more
three
solemns.
more.
And you get that many.
So that's 3 more basic lands, and you draw 3 cards at the end at your end step.
Yes.
That's so good.
Draw.
You should do that for sure. And when you play it, you're gonna draw 7 because force fruition and stuff. We all have we want me and Chaos having 2 decks that want everyone else to draw really skews the entire game.
Yeah, especially when the reason you want everyone else to draw is so everyone mills, and I want everyone to draw because they lose life. They cast 1 spell and lose 21 life because they drew 7 cards.
Yeah.
Then another one that I kind of want to die is a Wormcoil Engine.
Oh.
Wormcoil Engine is a 6-cost artifact creature with Death Touch and Lifelink. Or it's a 6/6 with Death Touch and Lifelink, and when Wormcoil Engine dies, create a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Worm artifact creature token with Death Touch, and a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Worm artifact creature token with Lifelink.
Mm-hmm.
When it dies, it makes more!
I like the way that also interacts with O'Hare Talk, because you create a Wormcoil Engine, aka 3, then when those dies, you create 3 of each worm per Wormcoil Engine.
Yes.
So in
so
one
you
turn,
get 9
have...
Death Touch and 9 Lifelink. All
Yeah.
3 threes.
No. And you can do it again next turn.
Yikes!
Yeah, because you still have the original Wormcoil Engine. Just
God
make
forbid
sure
you
that
also have
O'Hare is
Mondrak
not
out.
Dead.
No!
Oh, boy.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to do the math. So that's...
I play tested this deck a couple times. Stuff gets wild fast. There are some other really wild things in this deck. I'll get to them towards the end, and then I can reveal the name of the deck, because that goes along with it as well. It's very fun. It's an enchantment, isn't it? Enchantment centers. I'm looking for... Oh, Goblin Bombardment is a good one. Sacrifice a creature. Goblin Bombardment deals 1 damage to any target. You're going to have some extra creatures. Probably you want them to die.
Yeah, and if you're going to be sacrificing your balloons at the end step anyways, you may as well sacrifice them before they get sacrificed.
Yeah. We've got Impact Tremors as well. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage to each opponent.
Ow.
And then Mana Echoes is really fun. I'd never heard of this card before, but I found it. It's $50. No, $40, $50 for foil. It's for 2 and 2 red, you get an enchantment that says whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may add an amount of colorless mana equal to the number of creatures you control that share a creature type with it. So of course there's going to be at least one other creature that is sharing a creature type with it, with the balloon, because you are copying a creature. So you'll get at least 1 mana for each balloon.
That's really good.
I think humans is the most prevalent creature type. As well as Balloon Man himself is a human. So if you're copying humans, that just gives you more and more mana. Plus, if you got your token doublers, that'll get you more and more mana because each one comes in 1 at a time. I would assume no, it's a replacement effect. I don't know actually. I thought I'd have a little bit of fun. I threw a gamble in here. Search your library for a card, put it into your hand then discard a card at random, then shuffle. It's just fun. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the deck, but that can go get you something kind of cool, something you might want. We can discuss that later. That or something else. I put in a couple of blink effects as well. We've got Cloud Shift, Lae'zel's Acrobatics. Fairy's Protection is just generally good in a white deck that commits to the board. Because our main way of winning the game is kind of combat damage, usually in this deck. Tybalt's Trickery, just as a counter spell to try and keep to make sure your O'Hare Talk resolves, hopefully. We've also got an Ashnod's Altar to sacrifice and add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. You're making a bunch of extra tokens. Might as well. Especially if you're using your blink and other things efficiently to get your Balloon Man untapped so you can do it again. You can just start creating a little bit of mana. I think there are also like sorceries in here that create like 3 creature tokens. So that's 6 colorless mana. I think I have Phyrexian Altar in here too. Yeah, Phyrexian Altar, sacrifice a creature, create any color of mana, 1 of any color of mana. We've also got a Helm of the Host, so maybe you can start doubling some of your legendary creatures that are doing something really cool. Like maybe Balloon Man?
Don't do that. You don't need more than 1 Balloon Man.
I'm understanding how this infinite combo works now.
You don't need more than 1 Balloon Man, guys.
Illusionist Bracers is really good. Whenever an ability of equipped creature is activated, if it isn't a mana ability, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy.
Oh god.
Throw that on your Balloon Man. You can pay 1 mana to copy 2 things.
I have to do more math.
Lightning Greaves just to protect your commander or your O'Hare. Mirror Box just to get rid of the Legends rule. That way you can use your Balloon Man to copy legendary creatures.
That's a good idea.
Because he can target legendary creatures, but the Legends rule still applies.
So they
Mirror
would
Box
die immediately instead of sacrifice at the end.
Yes. Well,
You'd have to choose
they would
one.
still have an enter the battlefield, and they would still have a dice trigger, but they won't be able to do anything in the meantime.
Yeah.
Mirror Box, it's mainly the first ability. The first ability says the Legends rule does not apply to permanents you control. It also says each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1. Each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each creature you control with the same name as that creature, which doesn't apply in Commander. Well, Rat Call.
It only like for Rat Colony, Slime Against Humanity, stuff like that.
No, not Slime Against Humanity. Those aren't creatures. Those are.
Oh, those are.
It
tokens,
creates
right?
a token slime.
Yeah. What's the other one?
Throw
The
in a
blue
Skull
one.
Clamp, just for fun. It's 1 mana. Draw 2 cards off of the. Off of your 1/1 tokens you're creating. It gives +1/-1. It equips for 1, and when equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards. If you want to get really crazy with it, or we can throw in a Sundial of the Infinite, which is pay 1, tap it, end your turn, activate this ability only during your turn.
So that gets rid of all
So-
of your end step triggers.
Yes, that will get rid of all of your end step triggers, so you do not sacrifice your tokens.
What? Hey. Oh wait. Damage
Yep.
wears off end this turn and until end of turn effects end. So until end of turn effects end, but stuff that happens on your end step doesn't. So that's
Well, if you are in your end step, those go onto the stack, but if you pay 1, tap this, it will end your turn, exiling everything from the stack.
Mm-hmm. So, you get
So
to keep
your
stuff.
abilities will not your abilities trigger, thus removing the abilities or the triggers. It triggers, goes on the stack, is exiled, thus never resolves, so you can keep those tokens forever.
Mhm.
Oh,
It is a very common concept.
if do we got it though? Because this seems like it could get out of hand, and I don't think that.
Yeah.
Now, you've been doing the math on this, right? You over there. The amount of
Yeah, I did a little bit.
tokens that you would get from just that Phyrexian worm thing, and in one turn.
That's only if all of these 6 cards are on the battlefield at the same time.
Yeah,
I did
but the potential.
I did a little bit of math. If we have Mondrak, O'Hare Talk, and Balloon Man on the battlefield, and Balloon Man has Illusionist bracers, at the beginning of the end step, or when he copies the Wormcoil Engine, he will create 6 token copies of Wormcoil Engine. And when those die, he will create 6 token copies. He will create 6 token copies of Wormcoil Engine, and that will be doubled from Illusionist's bracers. Jeez. So he'll have 12 Wormcoil Engines. When those copies die on his end step, he will create 6.
12 times 6 of each token.
Yes, so that's 72 lifelink and 72 death touch.
Okay. Now,
And then Sundial of the Infinite, you pay 1, tap it, and you keep them forever.
see now,
Now that's a lot of
that-
things to go through to have a massive board.
in that situation, actually,
die
you
to a
don't
token
need the
wipe.
Sundial of the Infinite, because the ones that have the sacrifice at the end step are the ones that you need to die to get the things anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But you
don't
would
need the
still
Sundial.
have a ridiculous amount of things if it was with any other card that you're copying too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's 432 damage, by the way, for those.
It would
72.
require
And
a
72.
farewell for it not to get out of hand.
Yes.
There's one in here, isn't there? I can smell
Yes.
it. There it is.
It's in here.
Of course it is.
It's not against my stuff.
I mean, well, it would be.
Um.
You just get to choose.
All right. Back to the good stuff. We've
That
also
wasn't the
got
good stuff?
Caretakers.
Oh.
We've also got Caretaker's Talent, which at the all the way up at the top, creature tokens you control get +2/+2. That's gonna require 8 mana in order to get to that, but it's worth it. You're making a lot of tokens.
Yeah.
Also, when it becomes level 2, you can create a copy of a token that you control.
Real quick, add again Caretaker's Talent, all of those worm coils.
And he's gone.
He's dead.
Yep.
He's dead.
Yeah, I can feel it.
There he is.
I'm back.
Say again.
Those worm coils all become 5/5s, and I know this isn't the part that you want me to focus on, James, but I'm gonna. All of those become 5/5s.
Say one more time.
Which means all of your worm coils become 5/5s. Which means that when you get the 72 of each, that's 720 damage on board in one turn. What?
What?
Hold on. Give me that number one more time.
720 damage.
Now, I know you people.
360 of it death touch, 360 of it lifelink.
I know what you people at home are thinking. That
It takes a lot to pull off. Don't worry about it.
that
It's fine.
720 damage is more than 40, and I'm here to assure you that that's only true if you know how to count. So if you just forget how that works and gaslight the table, you'll never lose. This seems like a problem, but trust me, the king of friendship himself, we don't have to worry about this. No one ever has to worry about this because gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. Okay, that's
Yeah.
all we need.
if he has Phyrexian Tower or Phyrexian Altar on the battlefield, so you can do one of my favorite methods of winning a game, and that's you're sacrificing them to Phyrexian Altar, right?
Possibly.
And if he doesn't, punch him in the face until he does. I say that as though James would not do that. It's like, you know that movie trope where like the little guy comes swinging in and the big guy's just like holding his forehead, you know? I'm saying that as if I could even get close enough to... I'm gonna get you, James! Your word calls mean nothing to me!
All right, so moving on from that insanity.
That tirade that all of us
You guys don't usually sidetrack my deck list, but this one just went wild.
Yeah, sorry. We got caught up with the multiplication.
Usually I'm the one sidetracking deck lists.
Got caught up in multiplication.
Yeah, so I've got a bunch of enters the battlefield abilities. It's like there's Priest of Urabrask. When Priest of Urabrask enters the battlefield, add 3 red mana to your mana pool. There's, of course, Solemn Simulacrum. There's Spirited Companion. When Spirited Companion enters the battlefield, draw a card. A new addition, because apparently one of the cards that I added is from Foundations, which it doesn't come out until November, so it was not going to be legal for a while. Splitskin Doll. When Splitskin Doll enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card unless you control another creature with power 2 or less, which you probably will, because Splitskin Doll is power 2. And the token that your copy token is a 1/1.
Balloon
So
Man.
if you're creating a copy, you will not have to discard a card.
Isn't Balloon
Also, I
Man
think
power
Balloon Man's power 1.
Exactly.
So
You're probably gonna have it.
we've got basically just a lot of enters, draw a card. What is this one?
That's good. I love
when
those.
One or more other creatures with power 2 or less enter the battlefield under control, draw a card. Okay, yeah. A lot of draw a card. We also have some dice triggers. I have both the red and the white dragons from Neon Dynasty. They do stuff when they die. The white one, when it dies, you can either look at the top 7 cards of your library, put any number of non-land permanent cards with total mana value 4 or less among them into the battlefield, put the rest into the bottom of your library in a random order, or put 2 1/1 counters on each permanent you control that's a creature or vehicle. I'm slowly moving off camera.
I think I am as well.
The red one is in here somewhere. Where's this dragon? There he is. When it dies, either exile the top 2 cards of your library until end of your next turn. You may play those cards, or create 3 treasure tokens.
Treasure for sure.
Yep. That's the main basis of the deck. I do have some stuff in here to get really, really wild. There's no guarantee it's gonna happen though. So, what you want is, I have 2 mirror creatures that each produce a mana, either a red or a white, depending on which mirror you have. I have gold mirror and iron mirror. So you're gonna want them on the battlefield. You're gonna want your Jolly Balloon Man. You're gonna want one of your mirrors, or where is it? That enchant, the Mana Echoes. One of the two, something that can produce mana.
Mm-hmm.
You want your Jolly Balloon Man, and then we have 2 creatures that this can happen with. The first one is not that one. Where'd he go? He's a white creature. There he is. Village Bell Ringer. He has for 2 and a white. It's a 1/4 human scout with flash. When Village Bell Ringer enters the battlefield, untap all creatures you control. So if you have your mirror on the battlefield that produces mana, you've got your Jolly Balloon Man, you've got your Village Bell Ringer. You can use the Balloon Man to copy your Bell Ringer, which will untap all permanents you control. Use the mirror to produce the mana to use the Balloon Man to copy the Bell Ringer, which will untap all creatures you control. And making infinite Bell Ringers, which at that point, they're 1/1s with flying and haste. Or, to make it a little more simplified, impact triggers.
Mm-hmm. And if you have both mirrors out, that's infinite mana as well.
Yes. Which, why would you need that? You're making infinite 1/1s with haste.
That's fair. Sorry, my
there's
brain's in. Then how do we use this to win?
That's fair. There is also, that was part of the reason why I threw in the Ashnod's Altar and the Phyrexian Altar. It was like, ooh, we can make infinite creature tokens. Let's make some mana out of these things.
And then you're like, well, I don't really need to.
Or instead of having either of the mirrors, you could just have Ashnod's Altar or Phyrexian Altar, which you can sacrifice your creature token after it's on the battlefield, thus untapping everything, to create the mana in order to copy again.
And in that
if you
case,
do Ashnod's,
there is a net 0 because you're getting rid of the
Ashnod's Altar creates 2 colorless, so you
that
could
would
get
be
infinite colorless mana. Yeah.
Yeah, you get infinite colorless mana, and you don't have to sacrifice just your Bell Ringer over and over again to get that trigger.
Yeah.
With Phyrexian Altar, I don't think you would be creature positive, but you would have infinite enter the battlefield triggers and infinite leave the battlefield triggers.
Yeah.
And then...
And there's nothing in here with Magecraft, but you get infinite Magecraft triggers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's copying a creature. It's not a spell. Well, Magecraft is cast or copy a spell, but you're not copying a spell, you're copying a creature. It's only a spell on the stack.
And it's like cast or copy instants and sorceries, I think is what Magecraft is.
Oh, right. Yeah. There's one more in here. It's Zealous Conscription.
Yeah, Zealous Conscripts.
Yeah, Zealous Conscripts, which just when it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent until end of turn. Untap that permanent, it gains haste until end of turn. That just untaps your Jolly Balloon Man, which is where you want either the either a Phyrexian Altar or an Ashnod's Altar or the Mana Echoes in order to create mana, because it's only untapping one thing.
Preferably the Mana Echoes, because that'll give it to you without having to
that
sack
would get
stuff.
exponentially bigger every time, as long as you're not sacking them to an Ashnod's Altar as well.
Yeah.
Which would still be netting you a lot of mana.
Which you could then technically use to get... You could just go to an arbitrary number of mana that you get from that, and then you stop sacking it, and then you just go through all that mana to tap and then get that many creatures. So even if you are just sacking it to something that gives you 2 colorless mana, you can still do the exact same thing with an arbitrarily large number.
Yeah. It's like technically the loop would go on infinitely twice in order to get infinite creatures, but we're calling it infinite, so it takes like 30 seconds to explain your loop and then say you win the game.
Yeah. Explain the 2 loops you gotta do, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then say like any interaction, no, GG.
Yeah, can you get rid of my Phyrexian Altar? Can you get rid of my Balloon Man? Can you stifle my copy effect? Those are your not lose cons.
Your only options to live.
Yes. But with that being said, name of the deck, How to Go Infinite 101.
That is how.
Since I built this deck, I've seen a lot more stuff on like TikTok. Since then, a Command Zone episode has come out, and they've mentioned a couple things that I didn't think of or EDH Rec didn't have. There's a lot more ways to break this card than I thought.
Yeah.
One of them is scissors.
Yeah, when you start
I just
creating
grabbed the
token
easiest
copies.
to do.
Someone at home heard my joke and laughed.
Sorry.
I know for a fact. No, it's fine. It wasn't good. And I said it really quiet too, so it doesn't matter.
But even without the infinite loop, I think this is a cool, fun deck.
It
like
is.
I've goldfished it a couple times. I was never able to even draw either of my untapped creatures. But I was able to get out Panharmonicon and Elishnorn with the Mana Echoes, which was insane.
Yikes.
Because that is a creature entering the battlefield triggering an ability.
Yeah.
So it triggers both Panharmonicon and Elishnorn.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I'm scared.
That was a scared yawn.
Yeah.
I also ran into the issue that most of my blink spells only bring them back at my end step, so it doesn't help a lot.
Yeah.
But
it's always an issue.
I deal and enters the battlefield abilities, so it does help some, most of which are draw a card.
True. It's really cool. I'm going to rate your deck now, and I just want you to know that the only reason this isn't a perfect score is because I do not believe in perfection. You get 719 out of 720 of those worms, Phyrexian worms that you could have if you get the right cards down.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I'm going to I will give you 45,000 out of the 46,000 colorless mana that you will have at the end of your turn. I chose 46,000 because it doesn't matter how much mana you have. You're gonna hit us with a million 1/1 flyers anyways.
Yeah. I forgot about this, but I also have an enchantment that populates at the beginning of each combat. Populate is to populate, create a token that's a copy of a creature token you control.
What? That's not something that we should be having in this game.
It's determined iteration. At the beginning of combat on your turn, populate. The token created this way gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step.
I see.
Yeah.
So as long as you've used Balloon Man before combat, it's just another Balloon Man.
Or, alright, hang on. I gotta do some more math.
You do that while we move on.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you guys halfway through, though.
That's okay. Alrighty. It's my turn. My turn, boys.
Alright.
Alright. I'm going to start with the name of my deck because No, I'm going to end with the name of my deck. We're going to end on that. But the commander that I chose is the Mind Skinner. It costs 3 blue, which is a mana cost that I am a fan of. Except for when I get out like a Sapphire Medallion or something, and then my commander cost is not reduced at all. But it costs 3 blue. It is a 10/1 legendary enchantment creature nightmare. The Mind Skinner can't be blocked. If a source you would control would deal damage to an opponent, prevent that damage, and each opponent mills that many cards. I've created a very aggro blue deck, and you can tell that by the fact that I have 18 creatures instead of my normal 2.
1.
It's usually whatever my commander is, and then Jace's projection or something like that.
Yeah.
But
So your opponents have just gone from 40 hit points to like 87 or something?
Kind of. Whenever one person takes damage, all of them mill that many cards.
Oh, I thought it was that player.
Nope.
And each opponent mills that many cards.
Yeah.
So collectively, your opponents have about, at the beginning of the game, 93 hit points. End of later.
And I'm not the only one dealing to that pool. But I do have... I did make a very aggro deck. But I also have several instants and or sorceries that will mill people as well. One of my favorites is Cut Your Losses. It's a sorcery that costs 4 and 2 with Casualty 2. And Casualty 2 is, as you cast this spell, you may sacrifice a creature with power 2 or greater. When you do, copy the spell, and you may choose a new target for the copy. Target player mills half their library rounded down, which is a lot of cards.
Mm-hmm. And you can target 2 different people with those copies.
Yes, sir. There's that one, and let me find the other one that is just that as well. But there it is. Maddening Cacophony. It costs 1 and a blue. It's a sorcery with a kicker cost of 3 and a blue. So if you cast it for 6, you can do the kicker thing. Each opponent mills 8 cards. If this spell was kicked, instead each opponent mills half their library rounded up, which is
yikes.
Which is way better even than Cut Your Losses because it's each opponent and not just target opponent. I doubt I'm going to get a very high storm count, but I also have Brain Freeze, which target player puts top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard with storm. I don't know how
probably
far.
a Ronnan 2 mill 3 storm.
Yeah, it's a 1 and a blue for that instant. I don't know how many times that'll resolve, but it's there.
You should throw that into your Fibblethip, replacing your Mana Crypt.
I already have Brain Freeze in the Fibblethip.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, so that's not.
You still need to find something to replace Mana Crypt.
Yeah. I got a few mana rocks in here. And by a few, I mean 4? Maybe? Yeah, 4 and Sapphire Medallion. Soul Ring.
Yeah, so like 4.5.
Soul Ring, Sky Diamond, Arcane Signet, Commander Sphere. Just, you know, a little bit of ramp-ish. But I wanted to protect my commander from being killed when it gets blocked, forgetting that it can't be blocked. But then when I went to take this out, because it didn't work the way I wanted it to, I realized giving my commander double strike is still helping a lot. So Fire Shrieker. Yeah, Fire Shrieker.
Mm-hmm.
Artifact, equipment. It costs 3. Equipped creature has double strike with equipped 2. So I have that and Helm of the Host, which we talked about. Lightning Greaves, which is just protecting him. The deck is just... This deck is just very much make everybody put all of their stuff in the graveyard. So because of that, one of my... Where did it go? One of my many creatures that I have in here to this one isn't to do damage. This one is to help me not get killed by reanimation decks. Soulless Jailer is a 2-cost artifact creature Phyrexian Golem. It is a 0/4 with permanent cards and graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast non-creature spells from graveyards or exile. Which I feel like if I'm going up against a Reanimator deck, they're in black, they're going to murder him immediately. But it will take some mana.
Artifact that does that too.
There's a what?
I forget what it's. There's a colorless artifact that does that as well.
I believe so.
I'm not sure what it's called.
I was already struggling to pull stuff out to have it get enough land in the deck, though, so I don't know.
My only thought is Tormod's Crypt, and that just exiles a graveyard.
When you mentioned Bajuka Bog,
well.
I realized that would be a good one to put in here, and then I realized that I don't like non-basics.
Does it produce black mana?
No, it just exiles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
Cool. So it can go into any deck then, right?
Yeah, I'm not actually sure.
Okay, hang on. I'm Googling it.
Okay, you do that.
Nope, it produces a black. It enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard, and then tap, add black to your mana.
Never mind.
Cool.
Sorry.
So it can only go into decks with black.
It's a good thing I didn't put it
Commander decks with black.
Some of my highlights in the creatures. I still have no idea how to pronounce this, even though I've put it into a few of my decks already. It's from the Doctor Who set. It's Autumn Soldier. Autumn. I don't know.
Autumn.
Yeah,
or something
Autumn
like that.
Shoulder.
Yeah, it costs 4 and 2 blue for a 0/0 artifact creature alien soldier. You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it isn't legendary, is an artifact in addition to its other types, and has Myriad. So, gets around the Legends rule, has Myriad, becomes copy of something, I target my commander with that and have the commander then create more of them to hit people, and then I just get a ton of mill all at once.
Yeah, that's 40 unblockable damage, which if you've already halved everybody's decks with another spell.
Yeah.
And
just to make sure that you do understand how it works. It won't copy the ability since it's a replacement. Okay, you do know. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is still 10 damage to each player per creature.
Yeah. And he can't be blocked.
So there is still a reason to copy your commander. Just wanted to make sure that you weren't assuming it would make more triggers.
Yeah. It will. It's a lot of damage all at once. You won't be able to block it because it can't be blocked. It's Myriad because I love Myriad. It's just so good for hitting people.
I'm real tired of my shaky internet.
It's just so good. I didn't even notice you were gone that time because I can't see my Discord currently.
I've been disappearing like once every 2 or 3 minutes.
I see.
I just haven't been talking, so it hasn't been just like, you know?
I completely understand.
Did you ever get Blade of Selves for your ninja deck?
That depends. What does that do?
Equipped creature has Myriad.
I don't think I ended up grabbing that, but only because I forgot about it. Not because I didn't want to.
Figured it could be helpful in your ninja deck. That way, most likely, something's gonna go unblocked.
Exactly. I have just a few genres in my creatures that I'm going to go over instead of reading out all of them, like I usually do for some reason. There's I have 2 cards that if I mill a creature card, I get a token. Or if a opponent mills a creature card, I get a token of something, whether it be a 2/2 black zombie creature or a 1/1 black horror token creature. And both of those have other ways to make people mill things.
Yeah, just trying to find kind of a blue waste knot of sorts.
Yeah. Just to
very helpful.
Get some value out of, a little more value out of everybody else slowly dying. I also have two creatures. Let's see, it's Teresian Mindbreaker. I think that's how you pronounce that. And Fleet Swallower. When they attack target player, Teresian Mindbreaker is defending player, but Fleet Swallower is target player. Puts the top half of his or her library rounded up into his or her graveyard. Mills half their library.
Yeah. When I first started playing Magic, I had it was like one of the 60 card Planeswalker decks. I had 2 Fleet Swallowers in there, and everybody hated playing against me.
Yeah, they're not good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
in those 60 card formats.
Yeah, you don't have a ton of cards to play with to begin with, and losing half of them pretty quickly is kind of rough. I found 2 crabs with a landfall that mills people. Everybody knows Ruin Crab. Everyone knows him.
We know him. We love him.
But I also found Hedron Crab, which also costs 1 blue. He is, however, a 0/2 instead of a 0/3. With landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard.
Yeah. So Ruined Crab, it has a bigger butt and makes everybody mill. Hedron Crab has a slightly smaller butt and only does one person.
Yeah, target, but more.
It's the same amount. It's still 3.
But you might not have 3 opponents.
Huh?
You might not have 3 opponents.
Yeah, Ruined Crab is each opponent mills 3.
Hold on. Oh yeah, it is. Never mind.
Yeah, Ruined Crab's just better. He's the bigger crab. He's the
Dude, I said
cooler
it
mill
again.
crab.
Still good though,
Yeah,
because it's
still
more
great.
landfall mill stuff, which I'm going to be getting 1 land per turn.
You could be getting more if you ran some non-basics like Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic Expanse or Myriad Landscape.
No.
But it'll be a cold day in hell when I look at your lands category and see more than 5 non-basics.
I have a few this time, but we'll get to
You
that
have
in a
4.
second. That's it's a few.
4, yes.
It's
a lot for you. I will give you some credit.
I think the only other genre of cards I wanted to talk about in my creatures were I guess I only have one of the ones that does this, but Bravak the Grandiloquent. It's one word, and it doesn't feel like it should be. Grandiloquent.
Love this guy.
I think. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill twice that many cards instead. So good.
So Mind Skinner is milling 20 cards.
Yes.
And if you have Auton Soldier as Mind Skinner, that's 80 cards that everybody is milling.
Yes. Yes.
You could also do the. Didn't you say there was one that all players, or all opponents, mill half their library rounded up?
Yes, Maddening Cacophony.
Oh yeah.
Half your library times 2 is all your library.
Especially with the rounded up. That's your whole library plus 1.
You could also do Auton
Then you
Soldier
pass
and
turn.
Bruvak.
They draw, they die. They draw, they die. They draw, you win.
You could do Bruvak the Grandiloquent with Auton Soldier as well. And here I go again. Every single time that I want to talk about
He's becoming
something,
self-aware.
it's killing me. I have been self-aware. I get a huge red banner across the top of my screen on Moxfield. Anyways, you could do Auton Soldier with Bruvak. And if all 3 of them survive the Myriad thing... Oh wait, no, that's end of combat. Never mind. Oh wait, no, that still could work. Mind Skinner hits, then that's 10 doubled again, doubled a 3rd time, and then doubled a 4th... No? Just 3 times, so 10, 20, 40... it's 80 either way, never mind.
He's still rough.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has Helm of the Hosts, too.
Yes, I do.
Ah!
Ah!
Yes.
Everybody could mill 160.
Now,
You could also give something Blade of Selves, and that's another instance of Myriad.
I want everyone to know. I know what you're thinking at home. That 160 cards, it's more than 100 cards. But that is only true if you can't count. And all you have to do is
Here we go.
gaslight the
again.
table. And make them believe that that's not too many cards, and then all of a sudden this guy isn't a problem, and we don't have to worry about this. As the king of friendship himself, I would like to tell you that this guy is not a problem, and I think that all we have to do to get along is gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, and that's all 3. That just do all 3. Thank you.
James approves this message.
James approved.
Chaos stares into the distance.
Good job.
That's approval.
Good job.
Cuts out Wi-Fi again.
A lot of my enchantments also either do I have any enchantments that actually double the amount of? No. Most of my enchantments either makes people mill when I draw, or mill when they draw, or whenever I cast a blue spell, people mill.
Or make you draw more.
Or make me draw more. Ristic study. And I also have wizard class because heck yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple of what I like to call Ronnan staples in this deck.
Yes, there are.
Such as Spark Double, Seagate Restoration, Brainstorm, Sapphire Medallion, and Wizard class.
Oh yeah.
Those are all Ronnan staples. That and Reliquary Tower.
Yes, sir. We'll go through those 4 lands now because I found some that are actually kind of cool. I have 33 islands and 4, not actually 5 if you count Reliquary Tower, because you can play that as a land.
You mean it's not just an enchantment that gives you no maximum hand size?
I
He
did
means
not
Seagate
mean
Restoration, I
Reliquary
think.
Tower. I meant Seagate Restoration. I'm sorry, I said the
Okay.
wrong one. And also, Reliquary Tower is
whoa!
a land, not an enchantment.
It's not an enchantment?
No.
Wow.
Reliquary.
I've
Okay,
been
never
playing
mind.
this game wrong for years.
I can't tell what's a joke when I can't see anybody. This is so hard.
Now you know. Now you know why I was panicking about my lands.
I see. I understand now.
I have 3 screens, so I can see everything.
I normally have just one double wide extra thick on a Tuesday morning screen, but still haven't gotten my computer fixed because I'm broke! We're Magic and
tried-
Mayhem! Give us money, you love us!
Have you tried opening a Subway?
Like the sandwich spot?
Yeah.
My god, you're a genius.
Can I talk about my land?
Sure.
Thank you. I still can't
I
see
wanted a
anybody.
dramatic. I wanted a dramatic headphone flip, and then I was like, I don't want to run away.
Also, I
So
can't see you, so I wouldn't have known.
It would have been more funny if you had checked your TikTok before the TikToks that I sent you before you got on. I
So
sent
they
you
would have
one.
been.
I sent you one about a guy that just starts a Subway, and it only costs like $1,500 in order to get the franchising.
Yeah, I don't have any TikToks from you. My internet's bad.
Moving on to your lands.
I have
Yes.
Moving
sorry.
back to your lands.
Nixthos Shrine of Nyx. Tap it, add 1 colorless to your mana pool. Wait.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's colorless.
Yeah,
Or you
colorless.
can pay 2, tap it, choose a color, add to your mana pool an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. So I could pay 2 to get a lot of blue.
That's a better Gaia's Cradle. What?
It's real good.
Is this the first time you've heard of Nixthos?
I've heard of it. No one's ever actually read it out on any of the Commander videos that I've watched.
Or games that
They
we've played.
just-
Everyone just assumes you know what Nixthos is. That's the problem with all of the good cards is, as somebody who hasn't been playing forever, you start playing the game and everybody's just like, this is the card everyone knows, and then they just do stuff and no one ever explains it. So the good cards, the new players never know what they do and never know that they're good because nobody ever says what they do. They just kind of assume that you know what's happening, which is my number 1 pet peeve with playing with people in pods, is them not telling me what they're doing because I don't know what that card does off of the name.
If you would have,
I don't do names,
If you-
okay?
if you would have told me what the card does, I would have used this counter spell.
Exactly.
Goodbye.
This guy gets
Yeah,
it.
and then they go on to guilt trip you when you're like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that does. Can you explain it to me? And they're like, so what it does, you know?
Yeah.
Because I know I'm guilty of that to a certain extent, but I don't know. The only ones that I feel like I consistently don't explain are the ones that you guys know very well. You know,
and that you know that
Ristic Study,
we know.
Krenko. Yeah. Like, you guys don't need me to read out AC every time I cast AC.
No.
You just know, oh god, it's turn 3 and he's playing a million lands. Great.
Exactly.
Nice.
I don't need to go through the rest of these lands.
Odawara, Soaring City, Reliquary Tower, and
Scavenger
If
Grounds,
you guys
I
want-
can tap it, sacrifice it, sacrifice a desert, so technically itself works.
Yeah,
Exile.
that's the only desert in the deck.
I only need it to happen once. Exile all graveyards.
Just to stop those pesky recursion players.
Exactly. We've already.
The funny
talked
thing is, you can activate it as they're targeting something in their graveyard, getting rid of the target, so their spell fizzles,
gone, losers.
And then their
thus
spell goes
filling
in
their
the
graveyard again.
Yeah, their spell fizzles, and that puts that one spell in the graveyard. A reminder of their hubris.
You thought you had the best of me. No, I bested thou.
Yes.
Well,
Well, before I give my ratings, I do want to
I have.
mention this.
Okay.
You can
I think he was
keep
still
going.
explaining stuff.
I had
He
one
is.
more card I wanted to say, and then I was gonna be completely done. But I've been interrupted
Oh, sorry.
so many times trying to say this one
I
card.
I apologize. I'll let you.
I found Tasha's
Oh,
Hideous
yeah.
Laughter, and
Ooh.
I've never actually read the card of this one, but it's really cool. It's a sorcery that costs 1 and 2 blue. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until that player has exiled cards with a total mana value of 20 or more, which it's not milling, but it's still pulling cards out of their library, which does the same thing. And if somebody hit me with that when I'm playing Fibblethip, I know that I would be ruined and cry. So,
Yeah, that would take out half your deck.
exactly. Anyway, that's all of the stuff
Note
I wanted to talk about.
self-play
There's a
Tasha's Hideous
ton of instants in here. I have 19 instants and only 18 creatures, but like that's to be expected. But if you guys want to see what any of those are, it's just more mill stuff or draw stuff. It's fine. Just go look at it on Moxfield. I have it there. Ta-da!
Yeah, that's a very solid deck. The thing that I wanted to mention real quick is that this is the first time in Magic and Mayhem history that Ronnan has had the least expensive deck. This is also the first time that he hasn't had the most expensive deck. And this is the first time that I have not had the cheapest deck.
Which means this is the first time that James has not had the middle expensive deck.
Yeah.
Nice.
First for everybody.
Today this title goes to me. I have the middle expensive deck.
I have yet
Ronnan beat me
again
by like $40.
I have yet again shenaniganized too close to the sun.
You fool. Did you get
Yeah,
did you get shorter?
No.
He melted when he was too close to the sun.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a. I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna give this a very solid 3 out of the 4 non-basic lands in this deck.
I'm glad I heard that.
3 out of the 4 non-basic lands that I have.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear it. I just read his lips.
Yeah, I will give you a 3 out of a 4.5 out of. A 3 out of the 4.5 non-basic lands you have in this deck.
Yeah. That's more than 75%. It's less than 75%, but it's more than 50. That's all.
It's also more than, what was it? 5 out of 24.
No.
I have 9 basics, and you gave me a 5.
See, I couldn't remember how. For some reason, I thought I remembered the non-basic number more than the basic number, and I was still wrong about what that number was. But so I decided to go.
You
with
said 5 out of 29.
Yeah, because
it was 9 out of 24.
I mixed the two numbers. I knew it was 20 something, and I knew you said 9 at some point, so I just put them together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 3 out of the 4.5 non-basic.
All right.
I think the
Oh, I see
combo
what you
with
mean by
your-
he got shorter now.
I think the combo with your myriad copy thing and your double mill guy, I think that just kills somebody. I think you were forgetting to take into consideration that you keep the original double mill guy.
I never did the math. I don't know.
Yeah, so you have the original double
It's
mill
like
guy,
you've got 10
and
mil
then
from
2
your
copies
commander.
of it.
You double to 20. You double to 40. So that's your commander. You double to 20. Double to 40. Double to 80. That's only 3 of your double guys. So that's your copy, the copy's myriad, and the copy's myriad. And then there's the original guy, which doubles it to 120.
Oh yeah, because
That's a 3-card combo, buddy.
I forgot that it's not giving the original guy Myriad. It's bringing in a new guy that is that guy who has Myriad. Right. That wouldn't
Same
kill
here.
somebody. That would kill everybody because it's each opponent.
Yes.
Yes!
That's a 3-card win the game combo.
I would just like you guys to remember that if you pretend that that's not more than 100, then you can convince them that this guy
Kill
is
me.
not a problem.
There is also the 2-card combo, Maddening Cacophony and Brunevac, where they
Oh yeah.
mill half their library and mill that many cards again.
Mm-hmm.
You could also be hyper specific and do cut your losses and take out 2 people or just 1 if you don't want to kill one of your own creatures. You could just, that would be the worst move. You have a 2/2 black zombie creature and you still say, nope, only you die today.
I could kill you too, but guess what? I don't want to. No, I love the idea of taking out 2 people at once and it just being me and 1 person. And that 1 person is just the guy who's been mana screwed this whole time. And I just don't do anything else to kill him. I just sit there and watch him struggle for an hour.
Yeah,
and then lose the
you're
game
just like,
because I
you're
don't
like,
want
and you're dead, and you're dead. Hello there.
And now, you're not stuck in here with me. I'm stuck in here with you.
You're not trapped with me. I'm trapped with you. You kill those 2 people, and then you're like, oh, that's horrifying. I scoop. I'm out.
I can't take it. I can't take the heat.
You just break down into tears and sprint into the bathroom. 10 minutes later, you walk in the front door, and you're like, hey, guys, what I missed?
Hey, what's up? I got this new deck that I made this week. It's about milling stuff. You guys want to play? And everyone's just like,
And they're like,
oh, I forgot to tell you what the name of the deck is.
yeah.
Here, hold on. Let me tell you what the name of the deck is. I named this deck just 'cause you can't feel it doesn't mean you're not dying.
Yeah.
Because it's a
Yeah.
slow, painless death. Because I'm not taking your health away. I'm just hitting you, and you're losing something. Probably your mind. I punch you really hard, and your mind falls apart.
another thing I think you may have missed. It's whenever a source you control deals damage, prevent it. So it could be damage from an enchantment or from instant or sorcery. It doesn't have to be combat damage.
Now, I just would like you to remember.
You are also playing mono blue.
I would like. My response to that is I did not miss it. I'm just too stupid, and it's far too complicated. And combat damage is the easiest to figure out. Anything else is too much work for my little blue brain, and I just don't want to do it.
I'll give your deck 2 out of the 3 perspective friends you will lose from the pod that you join.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
The two of you. You two, specifically. Who's gonna be my friend today? You. The rest of you leave. Be gone!
Yeah.
We're playing now. Out of my sight, peasants. I want to play with this man. Hello, man. Let's play.
When did the orangutan join the call? Okay, I think it's time to end the episode.
It has been time to end this
Okay.
episode for the past
Yeah,
2 hours.
For so long. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this very spooky Commander pitch.
Oh.
You can find all of us on Twitch and YouTube under our respective handles that you will find both in the episode description and in the podcast description, and also on the YouTube description if you're watching this on YouTube.
You should watch it
I
on
did all
YouTube.
of our outros for us.
Guys,
Yeah,
everyone watch
Ronnan
it on
does the
YouTube.
editing
I
for-
do funny stuff in the video that you don't get to see when you're only listening to audio. I guess you could see the video on Spotify, but nobody uses
Also,
that.
we're
But-
getting a surprising amount of views on YouTube. What is going
Yeah,
on?
good.
Yeah.
Check out the
We've been-
YouTube, guys. That's so much better for us.
Spotify has been crashing and burning, but YouTube's going up.
Yeah, do that. Do that for us.
The past 3 episodes on Spotify, actually like 5, have only gotten like 2 or 3 views.
I haven't listened to an episode of ours since I think before season 2. So
Yeah, you listen to them while you make it.
I listen to it so much while I make it. I'm sick and tired of your voices all of the time.
Mhm.
I hate everybody, and I think we should stop now.
Yep. All right. Bye, guys. See you later.
ya. It's over.
Bye.
Oh, my desktop audio was on.
That's not my problem. That's your problem.
I was kidding. I just wanted a reaction. Tucker's was the most practical because yes, that is only on me. And Wyatt's took so long that I thought nothing was coming, so I just got sad.